BMW announced that they are accelerating their efforts to electrify their fleet by at least 2 years, and this is one of the cars they've presented. Well, not really a car, it's more of a Photoshop type of a rendering, but appears to be the next generation i8. Now, is this good enough for us, the electric car community? But they've also announced a couple of other things that I think are pretty cool. So let's go over this coming up next. Welcome to E4Electric, your number one source of unbiased electric car news. If this is your first time here, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. If you already have, then there's still a bell notification icon. That way you won't miss anything moving forward. All right, so yeah, so 2-year acceleration, which is great. I mean, don't get me wrong, any acceleration is good, but they were already going so slow that, now they're just going to be, not as behind as they were before. And don't forget, electrification for BMW doesn't really mean as much, because every time somebody says electrification, that means that also includes plug-in hybrids. And BMW's plug-in hybrids only have like 20-25 mile range, which includes the current BMW i8. By the way, this is what a current BMW i8 looks like. I think it's a beauty. I've driven it. I've driven it last year. It's not a bad car. The only my problem with it was, besides a tiny range of I think like 30 miles, it's not a real pure electric range. For example, my Volt has a pure electric range. So no matter what I do, when I tell my Volt to only use battery, it's just going to use the battery. Now the i8, if I step it up or turn air conditioning on and it can't handle it with its electric powertrain, it turns the engine. And by the way, I'm pointing back because that's where the engine is in that car. It turns the engine on to help the electric powertrain, and that's just not okay. Anyway, so here's some other pictures. And by the way, at this point, BMW, if you can't produce with all of your billions of dollars a real kind of at least a mock-up of a car, don't throw this stuff at us that just literally looks like you went to Fiverr, spent $20, and someone in India, Philippines, or Russia, use some Photoshop skills that they learned last year in college to produce these renderings to you. That's just not cool. So, but it does look like it's going to be the next generation i8, and they even produced some videos, believe it or not. The 0 to 60 is pretty impressive. It's 3 seconds, so which is not bad. But the range, the electric range, they're talking about only 62 miles. And I mean, I know I've been talking about my Volt that goes only 40 miles on electric, and I only spend maybe $5 to $10 for gas an entire month, because I use my electric range most of the time. Of course, different people have different needs, especially if you're driving this car. You're probably not driving long distance, but nevertheless, it is something that I really hope they would have been able to move fully to the electric powertrain. But at the same time, they are behind, and it doesn't really seem like they have too many other legacy manufacturers to compete with in this particular market. I'm just showing you some of the weird videos that they put out with this. They're just as weird as the fact that they use such a simple Photoshop skills to render that car for us. But that's not all that they released this week. They've also released this. This is a motorcycle, all-electric motorcycle. Again, as always, behind, but this is displayed right next to the rendering of their future i8. So let's talk about that and the coolest feature that they released. I'm going to save it for last. Of course, before that, a quick reminder that this video and this channel is sponsored by Byton. This one is all electric, coming to the US and Europe at the end of next year, starting at only $45,000. That's before incentives, guys. So, and $0 down to reserve this car, also before incentives. So I don't know what you're waiting for. Really, it's myself and 50,000 other people already done it. So there's a link in the description of this video. Go ahead and spend 60 seconds reserving your Byton today. All right, so they've also produced this motorcycle that I do have to say looks pretty cool. I'm not a motorcycle type of a guy, I have to say, but it's good that the legacy manufacturer is trying to catch up to, Lightning motorcycle and Zero motorcycles. But The specs are, once again, just like with everything with BMW seems to be, are underwhelming. One of them is that it's a 99-mile range. By the way, couldn't get to like 100. Like, you want to be in triple digits, right? All right, so let's say 100-mile range, which is okay, but it's not, turning any heads. We don't know what the price is going to be, because that's obviously very important. But it's the and another thing, I'm looking at my notes because I forgot, it's so underwhelming. Oh yeah, 80 miles per hour top speed, which is not exactly mind blowing. I guess the best part about this is that they are doing it. They've released it, yet another type of transportation that they are going to be electrifying. But let me know. I'm not a motorcycle guy at all. So those of you guys who know more than me, which should be most of you, let me know. Do you think that this is enough to persuade people to maybe go with a BMW rather than Zero motorcycles or Lightning motorcycles or even Harley Davidson, right? Because a lot of times it's all about the price. But let's talk about the most exciting feature, and it comes as a benefit to BMW owners who have plug-in hybrid cars that I've criticized many times because they only go 20 to 30 miles. But here's an interesting thing. There will be two things. One is when a car like this, and this is going to start 2020, that's what they're promising, enters a emission-free zone somewhere in Europe, and those zones are being growing. I've been reporting on that. Especially a lot of downtowns and busy areas of different cities. I believe London now has one that's 24/7, where you just cannot drive a gas guzzler anymore. It has to be either an electric car or have extremely efficient type of a car. And so BMW will notice that you're entering that zone and automatically switch to the electric mode. Now, granted, I know what's going to happen if that car enters the zone, but all of a sudden they ran out of juice and they have to switch to the gas engine. Like, how, obviously you're going to have to pay a fine, and I don't know. So this is a little bit weird, but I think they're on the right track in terms of being able to utilize this technology specifically for the areas where the technology is really needed, and the other one is not allowed. All right, but the coolest thing is this. They're going to have a BMW rewards point system. I mean, they already have one, but you're going to be getting points for driving using the electric powertrain. So every electric mile, I believe, you'll get a point. And also fast charging, you'll be able to get points. So essentially, BMW will be giving you stuff for driving their cars in an electric range. Now, I think that's pretty cool. Now, of course, it would be cooler if they would allow the range to be much longer and at some point, all electric, but all right. I think it's cool, and I think one of the things you'll be able to redeem with that, with those points, is free charging. So the more you drive your car in electric on a battery powered, in an electric mode. I shouldn't start using, see, this is what happens when I use big words. In an electric mode, the more you're going to get it for free. So I really like that. So that to me stands out of everything else. Again, not crazy about the i8, but let me know, what do you guys think? Now, by the way, they're not calling it i8, they're calling it M-Next concept. Let me know what you think about the M-Next concept. Meanwhile, don't forget to get on our VIP list, which is definitely for free. You don't even have to earn any points. We feature bonus story every week. So go to e4electric.com/VIP. And of course, thank you to all of my Patreons. Boom, at patreon.com/e4electric for supporting my channel. And thank you to one of my newer ones, Kyle Mahan, for becoming a Patreon and supporting this independent channel. All right, looking forward to your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.